Hello, and welcome back. We're going to continue to talk a little bit about stress and health. The previous video, we went over the general adaptation syndrome with the alarm, the resistance, and the exhaustion phases, the involvement of the autonomic nervous system with the sympathetic nervous system being activated. All right. That chronic long-term stress can impact the overall health of an individual, okay? While the body is designed to have and deal with short-term acute stress, all right? That's what is allowed survival. When you have things that challenge you, all right, that's a normal response of the body to release that adrenaline, increase the heart rate, increase breathing. But when it becomes chronic, that's when we cross over into things that can lead to disease, okay? And that stress can be either a physiological stressor or a psychological stressor. So we're talking more behavior here, all right? So physiological stress might be something like you smoke cigarettes. Those cigarettes increase blood pressure. That's going to increase stress response within the body, okay? Psychological is also a method whereby you can have chronic long-term stress, all right? And that chronic stress can be influenced by a number of factors, all right? Because some people can have and be exposed to stressful situations, and overall it doesn't impact them. They respond better than others, all right? That's because there can be differences between individuals at the genetic level. There can be socioeconomic differences, meaning somebody who has more wealth and has more resources may be able to adapt to stress better than somebody who doesn't, okay? Prior susceptibilities, okay? Prior exposures. If the individual has pre-existing health conditions, can vary that stress response, okay? So, we're talking about breaking things down kind of into some cultural differences. If somebody has a large family or a large support network, they may be able to handle stress better than somebody who is all alone, okay? There can also be age differences. As you age over time, your body, because it has been put through so many prior stress responses, it's gonna reach that fatigue state faster than it would if somebody was younger, all right? There are also differences related to gender. Okay, so typically when you see studies are done on men, usually white men between the ages of 18 and 45-ish. Women don't necessarily have the same response because we have a different level of hormones circulating in our body versus men. There can be differences based on where the individual is from. There can be differences based on culture, okay? So if you were raised in a different culture, that may impact your influence to stress, all right? Those stresses can be physiological, they can be psychological. They could also be, you could also kind of think of that more as internal and external, okay? So internal, it's something that you cause because of a response to something, all right? Be more psychological. versus external would be probably something that would fall under more physiological. Okay? There are a number of diseases associated with long-term chronic stress. Hypertension. Essentially, that's high blood pressure, okay? Because of the chronic release of those hormones, you're stimulating the cardiovascular system for the heart to beat faster, for respiration to increase. That's going to put more stress on the vessels, all right? And that can lead to things like stroke because of that long-term high blood pressure. Coronary heart disease is another that can result from long-term stress. All right? So these are kind of more on the serious end, and not to say that these others aren't serious, but stress can also cause things like migraines because you're dealing with hormones that influence the brain. Maybe we'll also put in there headaches. Can also be a stress response. You can impact the muscular system with things like backache, sore neck, sore shoulders, right? You've got tension that you hold there. And then you can also have things associated with the digestive system, like ulcers, because when you switch into that stress response, you're pulling blood flow away from the digestive system. That's not going to allow the digestive system to function properly, and that can result in a disease state. Okay? So there are a number of different systems that can be influenced by stress: nervous system, muscular system, digestive system, reproductive system. It's one of those that kind of has an overarching effect on multiple different systems. So try and keep that in mind. If you have any questions, please let me know.